data center market has been rocketed by several M&A transactions in the last few weeks. Joining me now from Oslo, it's Green Mountain CEO Kristian Gyland, who has just sold his business to Israeli real estate developer Azrieli Group for a total 100% share purchase of $850 million US. Tor, thank you for coming on the show and congrats on the transaction. I mean, let's jump right in. How long has this transaction been in the making, and what has made you an $850 million US transaction?
Yeah, thank you very much. And first of all, I have to say it's not Green Mountain that has sold the company. It's our current or former owners, the Smedvig family, who've sold the company to Azrieli Group. And the reason for selling is the success story we've had with tremendous growth over the last 3 to 4 years, meaning that we have grown out of the capital base of Smedvig. And we started actually this process a year ago, where we saw that the opportunities in the Nordics and mainly Norway, due to the abundant access of green renewable power at Europe's lowest cost, and also in combination with a cold and wet climate, meaning that is really energy efficient to operate in Norway. So we saw that the growth we see coming ahead is at the way that there is a need of new capital to fund that growth. So the decision to start the process started a year ago, but we kicked off the process around New Year, and it has been an interesting process with a lot of interest in the company. And the amount that was paid was high, but the reason for that is that Green Mountain has a platform. We're able to build, design, and operate data center, and we are ready for an expansion. We also have land access to future land options that will allow us to continue the growth to meet the demand. During this process, we had Altman Solon perform a study on the growth potential in Norway, and it is, as you mentioned, plus 500 megawatts, and we are now ready to take a huge portion of that growth in the Nordic, in Norway, but also expanding out of Norway with our current owners. So, working with the Azrieli Group, it's been an interesting journey. They have believed in our story, and we together are going to grow Green Mountain to be an even larger company and taking a larger portion of the Nordic market.
I mean, this sounds all very interesting, and I've got quite a few things to pick up in there. But let's start with, you said there was a lot of interest in the company. What other investors were out there that were interested to take part in this purchase? Of course, Azrieli Group came on top, but what other types of investors? Maybe if you can share names, you can share names, but you might not be able to share names, but at least what sort of background were these investors from?
I would say it's I cannot share names. I'm sorry for that, but there were strategic investors. There were some of our competitors that were looking at us. So quite a huge group that were looking to the Nordics. And I think the reason for investors looking to Nordics and Norway, particularly at the moment, is the challenges you see down in Europe, with Frankfurt just announcing that there is limitations on power. So in order to continue the growth within the data center business, you have to look into the tier 1 markets, and Norway being the best of them with the cost of power. If you're moving a 10 megawatt facility from Germany to Norway, you're able to save 190 million euro over a 10 years period on power cost alone. Wow. So there is tremendous saving of being in Norway, and we see huge interest. So having a new owner with a capital to fulfill those that growth is for us really interesting.
That sounds very interesting. I've never heard the stats of saving more than 200 million US dollars by just moving to Norway from Germany. But picking up on the 520 megawatts that you've got available now for expansion, that's on your 3 current sites, I believe. No, can you?
No, it's not on our 3 current sites. If you look at the 3 current sites, we have a line of sight of about 130 to 140 megawatts.
Okay.
We don't have that available at the moment, but we're working with expansions that will give us that amount of power. But on the 140 megawatt is quite a lot, and I would say that's the maximum we could grow on these sites. And that's why we have, in order to continue the growth beyond that, we have an option on a new site in just south of Stavanger, and it's located really close to where Statnett, the Norwegian grid supplier, is building a new substation for the region. And in that area alone, there is access to more than 500 megawatt of power. In addition to that, we have an option on a site just north of Stavanger. And Statnett is currently in a planning phase for expanding the power capacity in that region. So we will, in 2026, have access to another 300 megawatts, or there will be 300 megawatts alone available. I'm not sure that we will take it all, but we have identified and secured 2 additional sites, areas in Norway where we could meet the growth that we see coming.
Okay, that's interesting. But can you lift the lid a little bit on, if we're going to get out of the Nordics with facilities outside of the Nordics, where are you going to go first? Give us a little bit of
what we have been doing, and here in Norway, is that we're normally following our customers. We see that some of our existing customers has a need of capacity outside of Norway, and if I should look into the future, nothing is still yet decided, but I think we will be established in Copenhagen and the Stockholm region. And then we are looking further down to Europe. But that's more or less the domestic workload.
Okay.
With the improvements in connectivity over the last 3 to 4 years, we're able to reach more than 54% of all businesses in Europe with less than 20 milliseconds round trip, meaning that we believe that the largest growth for European workload will be in Norway due to the limitations that's currently around in Europe. But customers has to have some of the workload locally as well, and that's why we're planning expansions out of Norway as well.
Okay, I can't wait to see all that coming through. I like expansions and acquisitions. I think it's an open secret. But Tor, quickly to finish as well, the fact that the Azrieli Group, a real estate development company, came in and bought the business, that in itself is also a story, because we've seen a different type of investor coming into the data center space. We've seen private equity guys, hedge funds, funds of funds, family offices. There's so many different investors now. How do you kind of envision the data center industry going forward in terms of consolidation and the type of investors playing in this field?
First of all, I have to say that having Azrieli as our a new owner is really interesting. They are quite equal to Smedvig, the Smedvig family, our former owner, who is also have a large portion in properties. And there's a family office. They share the same values as Smedvig. And we find them quite similar. And the Azrieli Group has also a portion in the Compass Group data center Compass Group data centers in the US. So they're familiar with the data center business. And being a business that's growing, and we see it will continue to grow for the coming years, I think we will see more and more investors looking into this market. And there is not a lot of knowledge available in the market for them to start fresh. So I think you will see acquisitions moving forward as well. what happened with IPI acquiring GGPlex as well. So you see two major investing companies have acquired, I would say, the two largest data center operators in the Nordic.
One of the coldest regions in Europe being the hottest in terms of business.
It is. I'm saying that living in Norway is not the best because it's cold and wet, but operating data center, it's ideal for operating data centers.
Not too far away to get a flight somewhere sunny and hot anyway.
It's also.
Tor Kristian Gyland, CEO of Green Mountain, which has just been acquired by the Azrieli Group. Thanks so much for coming on the show and talking us through the acquisition. And you at home, don't forget to check our social media channels for more information and our website on www.techcapital.com. Until next time, you lead, we report.